He gives you the cash, he so does give you the cash. He will get money from his videos, he will do what he can. My name is StarkyBooty32, and I'm going to tell you all my story and experience of being a vegan. In case none of you know, I had been a vegan for about 3.5 months this year, from August up until a few days ago. I originally wasn't going to make a video about how I was vegan, but I thought I would now that I'm no longer a vegan, about what my experience of it was. I did announce that I was vegan on Twitter back in August, and also recently stated there that I was an ex-vegan, but now here's a video of what my experience was when being a vegan. I slowly started to become vegan back in July when I stumbled across some videos on YouTube made by several people who are vegan activists, people such as Joey Carbstrong and Earthling Edge, and I stumbled across their videos after watching some videos of vegans being trolled and owned by meat eaters in public, and I was thinking to myself when watching vegan activist videos, maybe veganism isn't as bad as I thought it was, and maybe they have a point about how we shouldn't exploit or kill animals just for our gain. I watched some of Joey Carbstrong's debates that he had with some meat eaters about how eating meat is supposedly bad, and I even saw that there were vegan versions of the animal products I loved. So I thought that maybe being vegan won't be bad, and my experience with eating plant-based meat will be just like eating regular meat. When I started off being vegan back in August, I thought I was up to a good start and that I would have access to all the plant-based versions of the foods I loved. I typically drank plant-based milk like oat milk and almond milk instead of regular milk, and I typically ate avocados and peanuts to try and keep up my calcium and protein. I did at least get some plant-based versions of chicken schnitzel, buttered chicken, ice cream, bolognese and sausages, and they tasted almost as plentiful and great as the real thing. But I unfortunately didn't get the plant-based versions of all the foods that I used to love. I didn't get any pizza and McDonald's because there were barely any places that sold vegan pizza, and McDonald's didn't sell any vegan burgers. I also had vegan burger patties and vegan cheese, but they tasted like absolute shit and made me want to gag and throw up, and I didn't like them. So as far as my experience with the foods went, at times it was okay, but it also felt like complete shit as I didn't get the fully plentiful experience I had when I had meat and milk. I had also been so sensitized to meat, dairy and eggs after agreeing with how vegans don't want to harm and exploit animals, and I could no longer look at everything properly whenever I went to the shops and the supermarket. There was no hiding from animal products as they were everywhere, and I also got Hungry Jack's and KFC ads on YouTube that I could also not avoid, which showed meat. I don't understand how a lot of vegans cannot like animal products, but they don't try to avoid seeing them, because I'm sure most vegans are completely sensitized to animal products, but they don't avoid them. I also felt my mouth water whenever I looked at meat and milk and craved it despite not liking it, but it was an indication that my body really needed it and that I missed it, and it was extremely hard to not crave meat and milk. I wonder if the rest of the vegans always crave meat and milk as they haven't had it in such a long time. Maybe, I guess, but I don't understand how they can have that craving for years and not give in to it eventually. Being vegan also made me lose quite a lot of weight, and I was always undernourished and really hungry. I remember being a little bit fat and pot-bellied before I became vegan, and I didn't really want to be a bit fat anymore. I wanted to be a bit skinnier rather than pot-bellied, although being vegan made that happen, but it was a bit too much, and I felt as if I was going to become anorexic if I went on like that. Before I was vegan, I wouldn't be hungry for many hours, but after becoming vegan, I remember becoming hungry after like 1 or 2 hours, as plant foods don't last in your body for as long, and it felt absolutely awful and sickening. I felt as if I was going to become nutrient deficient as well, because I barely got any protein, calcium or iron from the plant-based foods, and it was very hard to find plant foods that were high in protein, calcium and iron. I thought that there would be plant foods that I could have access to with enough of those nutrients, but unfortunately there weren't, and I felt as if my body was gonna eventually shut down and that I would get arthritis or osteoporosis from the lack of calcium. I just couldn't let that happen and let myself be in poor health and shape later on in life, so now was a good time to stop. Being vegan was overall very shit, and it was by far one of the worst decisions I have ever made in my life. It was very hard with cancelling out meat and dairy, and I can't imagine what the nutrient deficient consequences would be if I had continued to go down that path. The cons of being vegan certainly outweighed the pros, and I just couldn't keep on doing it. I stopped being vegan 2 days ago. I drank some milk and ate tuna sushi, and it felt really great to have that again. And I will just say that I will never be vegan again. I will happily chow down on the dead flesh and exploited excretions of animals for the next few years to come. Although I do know that in the near future we will get lab-grown meat, which is meat that does not involve the slaughter of animals, and where cells are used from the animal to grow meat in a petri dish. When we get lab-grown meat, I will have it instead of slaughtered animal meat, but for now I am guilty as charged, as I pay for someone to kill and exploit an animal after it lives a happy free-range life. I don't support factory farming just like the vegans do, but I support free-range farming where the animals are not in agony and locked away in terrible conditions all their life, but are living free and prestigious lives. And I remember once when Rag Reynolds made a series on his channel where he was vegetarian for a month, but I managed to take it further with an even greater challenge of being vegan for 3.5 months. I had a more stricter diet and went on for longer, and it was insane to know that I overcame a harder challenge than Rag Reynolds did. So if Rag is watching this video, I just wanted to let him know that and tell him that I managed to be vegan for 3.5 months, while he was once a vegetarian for 1 month in comparison. That is all I wanted to tell you. Being vegan was terrible, and I shall now begin eating all my favourite foods with animal products and enjoy them as much as I did as a now ex-vegan. Until next time, my name is StarkyBooty32, and thank you for listening, humanity. My name is StarkyBooty32. I'm one of the best people on YouTube.